We dabbed right into
we dabbed right into the training.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
hold on a second though.
No.
I got to give you a proper introduction.
No, you don't. I'm here.
No, but there's people that are new.
Okay.
They don't know who you are.
Hi, new people.
All right. So, Mr. Terrence T. Gray is awesome.
Thank you.
He's one half of the Tunicorns.
That's not on the cue card.
It's not on the cue card. but for those of you who don't know T. Gray, seriously though, this guy right here, years and years and decades in corporate America. He was number 26 in one of the top internet companies. It came out of 2000, became the senior vice president of that company with thousands of employees all around the world, got started in network marketing, became extremely successful, became a 6- and 7-figure earner in the industry, only because he got mentored by Mr. Holton Buggs. And this gentleman now has come back into the fold. As a matter of fact, he left for a while, went back into corporate America, was the senior director of a company in the energy sector, and now has come back. And it was an easy decision. And it was an easy decision for me to say, I'm coming back too, because working with this guy has been the best thing that I've ever done in my life.
Boom, baby.
So
it was easy. It was a quick decision.
It was quick. It was easy.
Holton, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, I quit. I'm out.
That's right.
Deuces.
Both of us. Both of us. It was like, boom, just like that. And he is the vice president of operations here at iBoomerang and Vibe Rides. And he is the VP of everything. Woo! Sir.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you,
awesome.
man.
How much do I owe you for that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That's at least $25.
I'll invoice.
Oh, Kitchy's gonna send me the bill.
I'm gonna step out.
No. I want you to stick around because you know what? You may have some things to contribute. Because you know what? Right. Here's the thing. Mark said all those cool things about me. His resume is equally impressive. We both have grown up in the Holton Buggs, Edwin Haynes School of Network Marketing and created serious results. I mean, Mark was in that same first company that I was in with Holton Buggs, and we both climbed to the top levels of that company. He built a massive organization, different parts of the world, and he's got serious corporate cred as well. So this is a mega team that we've got here. We love this A team that we've put together, and what's really cool about it is that we're not like in a lot of network marketing companies, executives who've never built. We know what it's like to be you. We've been you. We've been you. If you're a you who's brand new with nobody on your team, guess what? We've been you, right? If you're a you who's got maybe 5 or 10 people on your team and you're struggling to get to the next level, guess what? We've been you, right? If you are a you who's rocking it, making the big money, you got a big team growing all over the world, guess what? We've been you too, right? So that's what's super cool about us, because we have that background. But at the same time, we're not builders who've never done corporate work, who've never been responsible, who never had corporate responsibilities trying to run a company either. Mark is an engineer. Mark is a marketing professional. I'm a business development professional as well as a marketing professional. And so guess what, guys? We understand what it takes to run the company from a pure business perspective as well. So that's what's really cool about what we're doing here. And we've got some high power training for you, because guess what? In case you didn't notice, it's January. Today is January 4 of a new year. And this is time to get back in the game, and getting back in the game is so important because, we're coming off of the holidays, not the HOLIDAYS, the HOLIDAZE, right? Because so many people, most people, their whole life, they're programmed that come, especially in America, come Thanksgiving, it's time to mentally check out, right? And even though people go back to work in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, the bodies go back to work, but the mind is not there. The mind is already celebrating and checking out and slowing down. And you know what? So many people just can't help it. Everybody around you is doing it. And so people go into slow down mode. And we know what we want to do. We want to help you. It's January. It's time to shake it off and get rocking and rolling.
Okay, before you jump in though, I want to say something. Okay.
Jumping in January. I told you.
Jump in January.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, some leaders did not check out.
That's
As a matter of fact, some leaders' businesses exploded during the holidays.
Right.
I want to give a big shout out to
Cesar Munoz and that team.
And they exploded.
They listen.
Yeah.
So this year is going to be really special
Mm-hmm.
because our GMA, our Global Master Ambassador, Edwin Haynes,
Mm-hmm.
has this week in our private meetings here in headquarters committed to once a month serious buckle down business builder training for the field on flight school. Okay. And I can tell you right now that right around the beginning of November 2020, I'm confident he's going to teach you how to do what Cesar and his team just did, which is called cancel Christmas, right? And by the way, cancel Christmas doesn't mean that you don't celebrate Christmas and you don't take time and celebrate with your family or whatever that your holiday is, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, right? But what it does mean is you cancel the Christmas effect on your business, which is what I was describing earlier, where things just kind of slow down, right? So whereas in so many people's businesses, it kind of slows down or even come to a screeching halt because of the holidays, Cesar and his team, they broke all sorts of new directors, senior directors, executive directors, sapphires, rubies, and emeralds during the holidays, during the month of December. So their volume went this way, whereas a lot of people's volume went that way. We'll show you how to do that this year. But now we're going to show you.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
One more thing to say.
Okay. Uno más.
Yeah. So here's what you need to do right now.
Right now.
Right now is you need to get all of your sleepy people that may not be on this call yet. You need to get them on. So you need to start tagging them. Tag them right now in the chats and all of that.
Tag them, text them, WhatsApp them, send a carrier pigeon.
And get them on this call, because here's what's happening next. We're going to talk about what to do to get going.
That's right.
Right now.
So you guys ready? Get a fresh page in your journal. This is going to be a serious builder training. Let's jump into 8 things that you can do to get your business on track for 2020. Count them. 8. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Let's get to business. So now, as I mentioned, it's 2020 and it's time to get going. And there's 2 types of people, right at the beginning of the year, right? And there's kind of 2 types of people every morning of every day of the year. They're the people who they can't get out of bed. They're really slow and sleepy. Takes them a while to get the engine running. As a matter of fact, for some of those folks, they don't really get going until 9, 10, 11 o'clock every day. And you know what? Those are the same people that their business doesn't get going until the last week of January, the first week of February, maybe not even until April 15th, tax day. Right. So I want to challenge you guys. Which one of these folks are you? Are you the slow and sleepy person, or are you the fast and furious person who comes charging out of the gates? Are you that person who jumps out of bed every morning and says, I'm here to seize the opportunity? Are you the person who said, okay, you know what? It's January. Holiday time is over. It's time to rock and roll. It's time to get this thing going and to really start blazing. Which one are you going to be? It's time for you to get mad, M-A-D, and make a decision. Decide right now on this training as you watch this video, which of these 2 people are you? Are you slow and sleepy, or are you fast and furious? Pick one, decide right now. Okay?
Fast and furious.
All right, there you go. Mark just said he's going to be fast and furious. Kitsia, which one are you? She said she's fast and furious too, right?
Like a question,
so I'm trying to save her. Fast and furious. Yes, fast and furious. Fast and furious. Right? Okay. So How do you do it though? That's really the question. People say, okay, I want to be fast and furious, but how do I be fast and furious, right? I'm going to the next one. Okay, well, here we go. Let's jump into our 8 ways. Way number 1, get your mind right. So this is the first thing you're doing, right? Now, I like this picture here. This picture is an athlete, right? This is a guy, he's getting ready to play a major, serious football game. He's got his headphones on. He's getting into the zone. He's getting his game mode on, right? He is not playing. He's like, you know what? I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he had a barbecue at the house the day before, but right now he is getting into game mode. He's getting into game mode so that he can rock and roll. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Right. So what he wants to do, what you want to do in order to do this, perfect. Is it's time for you personally to break out of holiday mode. Okay. I don't know what you were doing over the holidays. Maybe you were hanging out with friends. Maybe you were hanging out with family, getting some quality time in, which is great, right? Recharge your personal, spiritual, relational batteries. Fantastic. Maybe you were watching Christmas movies and holiday movies and really getting into the spirit. Fantastic. That was great. Maybe you were all into the gift giving and the parties and the celebrations and all that stuff. That was fantastic. But now it's time to shake it off and get down to business mode. Okay. Now, one of the ways that you can do that. So you see, he's got his headphones on, right? He's controlling what he's exposed to. We can bring it on. He's controlling what he's exposed to. And so what you want to do at this point in time is you want to control what you're exposed to, right? Now it's time to turn off the holiday music, all the fa la 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 la, turn that off and turn on the stuff that gets you fired up. Turn on the stuff that gets you motivated. Turn on the stuff that gets you inspired. What are you listening to? It's time to recommit to personal development. I want to challenge you to create a curriculum for yourself, whether it's flight school podcast, whether it's personal development videos and personal development tapes, success material that you can read, that you can listen to, that you can watch. I challenge you to create a curriculum for yourself that will help you to be infinitely better in 2020 than you were in 2019. See, you know where you need to improve. Were you lazy? Listen to things that are going to help you to be more energized. Listen to things and read things that are going to help you to be more aggressive in building your business, right? Do you need to be more outgoing? Do you need things that are going to help you talk to people with more confidence? Do you need to have more confidence, period, right? Do you need to improve your work ethic? There are videos. I love the age that we live in. Anything that you want is on YouTube right now. If work ethic is a challenge for you, go ahead on youtube.com and put in work ethic. I watched a 4-minute video on work ethic on my way in. As a matter of fact, I also watched a video, an interview with Kobe Bryant about the winner's mindset and his work ethic, which it was absolutely insane. And you know what? He did a lot of the things that we're talking about. He said he went to his mountain of mentors. He said he went to Goat Mountain, right? You know what GOAT means, greatest of all time. He went to Goat Mountain, which was he went and he talked to the people who were successful before him to learn from them what they did, what their work ethic was like, what their mentality was like. So that's how Kobe Bryant, arguably one of the greatest of all time himself, that's how he did that. So the first thing is you want to definitely get your mind right and control what's going in. You want to reconnect with your why. Why are you doing this? Because that is what's going to carry you through. That's what's going to get you out of the gates. That's what's going to get you out of the bed. That's what's going to help you to do more than 5 and 25. That's what's going to help you to go that extra distance and go that extra mile. I'm going to tell you right now, the folks who are at that CEO luncheon are going to be the folks who said, you know what? I know why I'm doing this. And it's going to be more important to them than it is to anybody else. And they're going to go bigger. faster, and do more than other folks because their why is stronger. Kobe, in that interview, he talked about the guys in the NBA. He said that we're just kind of taking vacations for no reason, just kind of hanging out for no reason. He said, I'm not doing that. That's my time to practice more. That's my time to train more. That's my time to understand the game more. And so during his era, he just worked harder and he deprioritized some of the social and recreational things that other people said, hey, this is really important to me. He's like, no, what's really important to me is to be exceptional. And that's why, he's one of the greatest players of all times. So I want to challenge you guys to do that. Another thing you want to do is you want to get focused. See, that's what this guy is doing. He's getting focused on the game at hand. He's getting focused on the mission at hand. He is tuning out and saying, this is what we got to do. And you know what? He's not focused on last week's game. They may have won last week's game. They may have crushed the other team last week. They may have won last week's game 60-3. But that was last week. You know what? Last week, they may have gotten crushed 60-3. They may have been the team that got just annihilated. But you know what? That was last week's game. He's focused forward on this week's game. What are you focused on in 2020? Don't be focused on what happened in 2019. And for some of you, you know who you are. Don't be focused on what happened in the last company. It's time to stop being focused on what happened in the past. And it's time to be focused on what you can do and what you can achieve now, what you can achieve here in iBoomerang, right? It's not time to focus on the way things were in your previous deal. Learn how things are here. Learn how to maximize the situation at hand. So number one, get your mind right, get your mind focused on the future, and get super clear on what it is that you need to do coming out of the gates in 2020. Number two, you guys ready for number two? If you're ready for number two, say number two. All right, number two is commit to learning the business this year. This is huge. Yesterday, here at headquarters, your GMA was here, your VP of marketing was here, I was here, Kitsy was here, and we were standing around and we were talking about this business. And, Mark and I each had a similar experience, both very, very successful in corporate, prior to network marketing, right? But then when we got involved in network marketing, even though we were successful, even though we were pedigreed, we floundered. Mm-hmm. We met with initial failure. And I don't know about you, Mark, but for me, it was extremely frustrating. It was confusing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was difficult.
Because I thought that because I was successful in corporate, I should automatically be successful in network marketing. And I was just a monumental failure to the point where I failed in one company. I went to another company. I failed in that company. Mm-hmm. Went to another company. I failed in that company.
Well, it wasn't a company.
Right? And it definitely wasn't a company. And you know what my wife said after that? My wife, who is my biggest cheerleader, said, okay, enough. Time for you to go get another job, dude. Right? Because this obviously is not working for you. And maybe you're not designed for this. And I was actually, maybe even starting to consider that. But I'll tell you what, here's what happened. I joined that fourth company. And it was funny because it wasn't even my intention to do that. I went to this luncheon. I wasn't invited. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your GMA, Edwin Haynes, was doing a presentation that was just so amazing. And it wasn't just his presentation. It was just kind of the way everything worked. Mm-hmm. The whole setup and the system and everything was just impressive from the minute I walked in. And the fact that they were even having a luncheon was impressive. Right. And, between your GMA, your Global Master Ambassador, Edwin Haynes, and your CEO, Holton Buggs, they taught us the business of the business. See, that's a whole lot different. It's not just, there's so many people that, play basketball. What they don't understand is the business of the game. There's so many people that play football. What they don't understand is the business of the game, the mechanics of the game, the things that make the game work and make the game move and make one game different and 1 minute different than the other minute. And you know what? Holton and Edwin taught us that. We became students and we learned the business of the business. I forgot to bring my box of journals. I wanted to show you guys on screen. I'm going to bring it in one of these days and show you my journals from, you know, when we got started there. And I've got literally a box of journals. Mark helped me move.
Yeah, I moved them.
Yeah.
It wasn't one box.
It was
boxes.
Right?
Boxes.
Because I became
and they were
student.
heavy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You want to be like this girl
Hey,
in the
when
picture.
you're moving again, I'm
No.
not helping.
No, you're not going to help me this time? All right, okay. Well, guys, you want to be like this girl in the picture here, right? She is in student mode. And this is so important because one of the things that Mark and I each had to do, even because we came from success. We came from, we weren't the folks that this was the last resort. We could get another job and make some good job money, right? But what we had to do is tuck our egos away and recognize that we didn't know what we don't know. And you know what? I want to challenge you guys. Student mode starts with humility. It starts with recognizing that you don't know what you don't know. I read some of the customer service letters that we get where people are incredibly critical of what we do. They're incredibly critical of flight school. They're incredibly critical of our social media. And they don't understand that it's all part of a system. It's all very strategic. It's all part of the reason that Holton Buggs and Edwin Haynes and others have created the success that they've created. This is all part of the soup. You know, it's kind of like going into grandma's kitchen, and grandma's been throwing down for years, making a whole Thanksgiving spread by herself with one hand tied behind her back. And going into her kitchen and saying, hey, why do you do that? Why don't you clean the pots as you go? Why do you put this in there? Why do you put that in there? Why are you humming? You know what? That's going to get you kicked out of the kitchen and maybe kicked out of Thanksgiving dinner altogether, right? You don't question the secret sauce. You don't question the magic. You say, hey, you come from a different place of student mode. Hey, grandma, I see that you're doing that. What's the method behind the madness? Why is that important, right? And you know what? That's what I want to challenge you guys to do this year. Become students of the game. Learn the business of the business. Don't come here with your critical eye unless you have been able to create the same type of results that a Holton Buggs or an Edwin Haynes has been able to create. You know, I remember I had one fall and hit your head moment. You ever have a fall and hit your head moment?
Oh, yeah.
And you just say something really stupid. And I remember back in that first company, I fell and hit my head and said something really, really dumb to Holton. And he says, hey, listen, I'm going to put it to you this way. He says, if I listen to you, I'm going to learn how to make your kind of money. And he goes, but if you listen to me, you're going to learn to make my kind of money. And he goes, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want to make your kind of money, right? And I was just like one of the moments that just stuck with me. I'm like, yeah, you know what? If he listens to me, I'm gonna decrease his income because I really don't know what I don't know. And so I want to challenge you guys to get into student mode because you're really gonna learn this year. And some of you are gonna take this part of the conversation to heart and get your greatest results ever. That's bigger than you could ever imagine in 2020. Now, what that's going to involve is that there's a system here. And what you want to do is you want to learn it. You want to learn the system and you want to duplicate the system within your team. I want to challenge you. I mean, and yes, you have the freedom and the ability to build your business whatever way you want. We're not saying you got to do it our way. We're not saying my way or the highway. But we are saying this is a proven way, right? And so you got to, if you haven't created the same type of a result as a Holton Buggs or an Edwin Haynes, if you haven't done that and you're doing something different, then I got to ask you, why? What's that about? You know, is that about your ego? You know, you don't need your ego. Which one do you want? You want ego or you want bigger results than you've ever been able to achieve before? right? Now it's totally up to you to choose, and you get to choose whatever you want. But I want to challenge you guys, learn this system, duplicate this system, teach this system, and allow it to help you grow. I remember what Holton said about people wanting to go faster, right? And a lot of times when people want to go faster, what they're looking for are teachings or techniques or advice that's going to help them to go faster. And Holton said something that blew my mind. He said, the way I help people go faster, like if we're rowing a boat, I'm not going to teach them how to row faster. He goes, I'm going to make the water move faster, right? And for some of you guys who are like, huh, what does that mean? See, when you get all the people doing the same system, it creates a current that literally moves people to success faster than they would otherwise be able to achieve on their own. I'm an example of that, right? Because you know what? I went to another company. I didn't stay, with Holton company after company. I went and I did something else, and I created great results, bigger results than other people in that company, than most other people in that company on my own. But had I taken that energy and stayed in the system with Holton, my results literally would have been times 10, maybe 10x. Even times 20, right? Why? I would have done the same work. I would have put the same effort in, but the water was moving faster, right, in that system. So am I selling you on a system? Yeah, I really am. Am I selling you on the way that your global master ambassador is going to teach you week after week? Yeah, I'm selling you on that. I'm selling hard that, hey, give it a shot, learn it, submit, get into student mode, because our goal is to create the most success that's ever been seen in one company in this industry. Okay, so number 2, commit to learning the business this year. All right, let's bounce on to number 3. We're sharing slides here. And number 3 is to set clear goals. Set clear goals. Now, I love the training that our CEO did last week. And this is where I want to plug last week's training. I want you to go back. If you didn't see it, go back, watch the video. Go on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/iBoomerang, right? It's on iBoom Hub. It's on the podcast. Go and watch the training. We have actually trimmed out all the other stuff, so you can literally just watch the part where our CEO, Holton Buggs, trained. He did a 2020 goal setting workshop. He literally taught how to set goals. Most people, they don't make goals. They do resolutions, right? And it's funny. I saw this meme and I sent it to a few of my friends. And the meme said, I'm going to start a gym and I'm going to call it resolutions. For the first 2 weeks of the year, we'll have weight equipment. And for the rest of the year, we'll just turn it into a bar, right? Why? Because that's how most people operate, right? They make a resolution, they can't stick to it. And they make unclear, fuzzy goals like, oh, I'm going to do it big this year. Okay, well, what is that? I'm going to make a lot of money this year. Okay, what is that? I'm going to have a big team this year. Quantify it. I want to have a lot of customers. What's a lot, right? So when you set goals, you want to use the SMART method, SMART. That means your goals need to be specific. It means your goals need to be measurable. Your goals need to be achievable. They need to be realistic given your skill set and the time that you have, right? So some of you guys, this is your first ever time in network marketing. You've never done it before. You have no clue how to do it. You just signed up as an ambassador last week. It might not be realistic for you to say you're going diamond by Accelerate, which is next month. All right. So, when you set unrealistic goals, you can set yourself back. I'm not saying that you should limit yourself. I definitely want you to dream big, but dream big within the scope of where you are, right? Some of you guys should go diamond this year. You have the experience, you have the wherewithal, and you should set your sights that high. And they also should be timely, meaning they have times on them. All right. I want to go Sapphire on this date. I want to go Ruby on this date. I want to have 100 customers on this date. Okay. So that's how you set your goals using the SMART method. All right. So remember this. Hopefully you guys are taking good notes on how to be very specific when you set your goals. So here's what we want to do in terms of the type of goals that you can set. What is your goal for the month of January? right? So you don't want all those goals to be long range. You want to put a little bit of pressure on yourself. What is your goal for this month? What will you accomplish by 1/31/20? What is your January goal? Some of you guys, it's got to be 5 and 25. Some of you, are higher than that so that you can get into that top 25 and get invited to the CEO luncheon. Some of you guys, this is the month that you need to go Sapphire. For some of you, this is the month that you need to go Ruby, Emerald, or Diamond. Okay. How many customers do you have? How many customers will you have at the end of this month? Okay. What will your rank be? And now let's look forward, not just January, but what's your goal for Q1, first quarter? So by March 31st, what's your goal, right? What's your goal for the end of Q2, Q3, and the end of Q4? What's your goal for the year? So this is how you can set some very specific goals, and you want to post them up and where you can see them every day, and you want to work toward them every single day. Okay. Now, the next one, make sure I'm not skipping anything, is to be accountable. Be accountable and to be plugged in. Get plugged into your plugged in upline. I'm going to leave this up for a couple of seconds so you guys can get a screenshot, but you want to be accountable and you want to get plugged in to your plugged in upline. And I love this image here because guess what? We all know what happens when you plug things in, right? That's when the party starts. I remember my wife put up the Christmas tree and it was all nice and everything, right? It was fine until she plugged it in and then it lit up, right? Everything starts. People go to Rockefeller Center in New York and they have the big, beautiful, oversized tree and it's all nicely decorated. And then they plug it in and it becomes a spectacle. That's when great things happen, when you get plugged in. You might be cool on your own, but once you plug in, wow, amazing things can happen, right? Because number one, you have someone to be accountable to. Because when you have goals and there's no one else who knows your goal, who can hold your feet to the fire, then it's easy. The easiest person in the world to let down is yourself. You've been doing it your whole life. You've been doing it your whole life. We've all been doing it to ourselves the whole life. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock tomorrow. At 5 o'clock, the alarm clock goes off. And we're like, hey, you know what? I didn't get enough sleep. Yeah, I'm going to sleep till 7 and we'll try this again tomorrow. That's just so easy. But if you say, I'm going to meet my buddies at the gym at 5:30 and you know they're going to be waiting there for you when your alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock, it's not so easy to lay there because now you're going to let some people down. You have some people waiting for you. So now you jump out of the bed. That's called accountability. It's called accountability. So you have to find someone who's in sync with you, who, not somebody who's a hater, somebody who's on your team, right? And say, hey, here are my goals. This is what I want to achieve. I need you to hold me accountable. Now you have a accountability buddy, all right? And then you want to make sure that you're plugged into your plugged in upline. Here's what that means. Just because a person is above you in the tree, it doesn't mean that they're plugged in, right? So if you have somebody who, maybe they're just not really doing it. They're just kind of in, but they're not really in, or they're in and they're clearly doing it their own way. You may want to just keep going up above, until you find an upline who is plugged in, who's on flight school every Saturday, who's tied into the Global Master Ambassador, who's willing to take you under their wing, his or her wing, and make you a mentee. Find someone who's plugged in because they're going to teach you the system that's going to help you go. They're going to put you on one of the rowboats where the water is moving faster. Yeah. Okay. So find that plugged in.
I've got a story about that. So back in the first company I was ever in, brand new to network marketing, I had 2 degrees, engineering and a business and MBA, and I knew everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I didn't. So I thought I did. And so, but also my sponsor, he was in the same boat as I was. He knew everything too, because we went to MBA school together.
I know him.
Yeah, you know him. So you know what he was all about. So we were in bad shape. So we were doing everything wrong. And we were like, man, why are we not like getting to the top? So we had to jump and skip up several levels. And we went straight to Edwin Haynes.
Wow.
We went to Ed and said, Ed, man, we you know, what do we do? What do we do? And Ed is, you know, he's been with Holton for, you know, over 20 years.
That's right.
And so we got to get the information from Ed directly. And Ed helped us jump by leaps and bounds. So first of all, he said, you got two eyes, or you got two eyes, two ears, and one mouth. He said, so stop the ears, or open the ears, stop the mouth, open the ears, open your eyes, and pay attention. And so we did that. And Mr. Edwin Haynes is the one that helped us get to certain levels in that company. And then finally we were able to get to, you know, Mr. Holton Buggs, and he was able to also help us, you know, do incredible things in that company, become 6- and 7-figure earners. And it was only because we started listening, stopped talking, and got to the right people. And that's so critical because, and, you know, I was fortunate because, you know, Mr. Buggs and Mr. Haynes were, you know, at a different level in that company, even though they were at some of the highest levels. You know, Mr. Haynes and Mr. Buggs were in the top earners in that company.
That's right.
But you know, we were able to get to them. You know, now it's much more difficult. So, but you have tons and tons of leaders who have grown up and grown in the industry with Mr. Haynes and with Mr. Buggs, Cesar Munoz, Jose Luis Rivas, you know, all of these, you know, diamonds. And so bottom line is this, get plugged into your plugged in upline. And you've got to, sometimes you got to skip way up, you know, to move way up.
To get that right person.
But I implore you, you need to hear this next statement. Do not talk. Get a journal and you take notes and ask questions.
That's right.
Come prepared to your meetings. Get your flight plan calendar and make sure that you've got a flight plan calendar with you, because if you don't come in with a flight plan calendar, you're not going to get coached.
That's right.
You're not going to get trained. So anyways, I'm jumping ahead.
No, you got to listen to what he's saying though, because you know what? Because of what Mark did and what his sponsor did, when I was going through my journals the other night, I came across several pages where it was a training by Mark Kithcart that I was sitting taking notes in, or a training from his sponsor that I was taking notes in. And of course, this is now after they've now plugged into Edwin Haynes, who was also coaching me, right? And this is how that happens. Now, someone is asking here in the group, well, how do I find the upline of my upline? Well, you know what? Here's how you do it. Number one, first of all, you make sure that you're plugged in, you're in the groups, and go to the events. Because usually what happens, see, you know, everybody who's in Daniel Camaro's group knows they're in Daniel Camaro's group because he makes a big huddle after the event. And so if you're in that huddle, like, okay, Daniel Camaro is your upline diamond, Daniel and Talita Camaro, right? So this is how you know. Emmanuel Bursting, he does the exact same thing. Tommy Johnson does the exact same thing. Karen Hirsch is doing, I know they're doing a big team call for their team. Guess what? If you end up getting invited to that call, very, very likely, Karen and Peter Hirsch, Blue Diamonds, are your upline. Now, you may go all the way up to them and they may send you a few layers down, right? Because you don't know who's between you and them. So you may reach out to them and say, hey, I'm looking for someone. I'm serious. I'm ready.
I got my flight plan calendar.
I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I'm going to do what I'm coached to do, like Tommy Johnson did when Edwin Haynes mapped out his plan. And they may say, okay, great, fantastic. I know who your upline Sapphire is, or I know who your upline Ruby is, who's rocking it. Let me connect the two of you so that they can coach you how to, because it doesn't mean that you got to work with them. It means that they can help you find that plugged in upline who's between you and them, who can help you get your game going.
And the person who's closer to you is closer to the fire.
That's right.
And they're on fire as well. And they are pushing and rocking and rolling. So you know, and you want to get it as close to you as possible. So
absolutely. So that's how you do that, folks. And that was a great question that someone put in the chat. All right. So Mark, you mentioned the Bible. the flight plan calendar. And I don't mean any sacrilege by calling this the Bible. I mean it as a descriptive term to say that this is the Bible. This needs to be the Bible of your iBoomerang business.
Okay, so somebody just asked, how do I get the flight plan calendar? Okay.
All right.
You got to go to boomgear.com.
Boomgear.com.
The flight plan calendar. Can you put that in the chat?
Boomgear is going to go in the chat right now. Boomgear.com is where you get your flight plan calendar. And here's the thing. Please hear me on this. Remember, you're in coachable, teachable, trainable mode. Do not buy just one.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what you got to do. You got to ask yourself, how many new people do you plan on personally sponsoring during the month of January? Okay. So let's suppose you plan on sponsoring 4 people in the month of January. Then guess what? You need to invest. These are $25, I believe.
Yes.
$25. You need to invest $100 into your business. You need to buy 4 of these so that you have them in hand. Okay. Now, here's what you do. I don't recommend that you give them to the new people, because here's what I've learned in time. People rarely appreciate things that they don't pay for. Okay. So if I enroll a new person, what I'm going to say to them is, okay, great. Here's our #1 tool that we're going to use to make you successful in this business. You need a flight plan calendar. I've got your flight plan calendar here so that you don't have to worry about shipping and losing time, so that you can get in the game right away. This one is yours. It's $25. And if a person doesn't want to invest $25 in the tool that's going to help them to be successful, I'm not going to work with them. Okay. But here's what happens. So I enroll my 4 people. When I get those $25 times 4, I get that $100. I don't go to lunch with it. I buy 4 more calendars.
Reinvest.
Okay. So I always have calendars on deck for my new people as soon as they enroll, so we can get down to business right away. Matter of fact, they're buying their calendar. If they sign up at a boom party, if they sign up at the local Houston meeting, they're going home with their calendar now that they've signed up. Does that make sense, guys? So this is the deal. If you're not about this, why? This is one of the things that makes the water move faster. Okay, guys? All right. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do with this calendar. The first thing we're going to do with this calendar is you're going to pick your plan. All right. You're going to pick your plan. So on inside the calendar, right? Inside the calendar, there's right toward the beginning, there are these 2 pages side by side. And what this does is it allows you to pick which plan you're going to run in 2020. All right. Are you going to go with the conservative plan, which is called 10 and 2? The 10 and 2 plan is an excellent plan. It will get you to the finish line, right? It's not about speed, folks. It's about finishing. So 10 and 2 is going to help you. The way it's going to work is you're going to start by getting 10 customers and enrolling 2 people. And then every month you get 10 more customers and you teach your 2 people to do 10 and 2 themselves. And if you keep doing that and you keep doing that, at the end of 12 months, you end up with 780 people on your team. You end up with over almost 8,000 customers on your team, and you're making some killer bank. And you may have felt like you were doing just a little bit, but you just kept stacking bricks on the wall one at a time. You're not getting sidetracked by other people running past you. You're just doing your 10 and 2, and you're doing your 10 and 2, and you're doing your 10 and 2, and you keep creating a 10 and 2 culture on your team. And in that particular case, slow and steady wins the race. Okay. So you may choose the 10 and 2 plan, or you may choose instead the faster plan, the more aggressive plan, which is 2020. Okay. Now 2020 is faster, not necessarily better. The reason why I want to say that is because I don't want to disqualify 10 and 2. You got to choose the plan that you can commit to. All right. So the 2020 plan is about 20 people, you personally enrolling 20 on the left and 20 on the right. and doing it at least 2 or 3 times during 2020. All right. So that means that you're going to end up personally enrolling 40 or 60 or even more people, maybe even 100 people personally during the year. And of course, getting your customers, getting into the Boom 100 Club yourself with customers. That plan has an accelerated result. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, both plans will get you to the finish line. Pick your plan, commit to your plan, and then we'll roll from there. And of course, you can start at 10 and 2. And once you get some confidence up, you can switch to the 2020 down the road. Or if you start out 2020 and you realize, you know what, maybe I'm not at that level yet. I'm not a Jedi yet. You can kind of drop down to 10 and 2 and just make sure you commit to whichever of those 2 plans that you choose. Okay. Here's another thing you want to do with your calendar. The next thing you want to do with your calendar is you want to take inventory. Okay. So in each month of the calendar, you have this particular page. Okay. I'll put this up. All right. So you have this page where you take inventory of who your stars are, who are the different legs of business that you're going to work with. This is how you come to those coaching sessions with your plugged in upline. They're going to tell you, draw out your group. This is what they're looking for. They're looking for you to take a picture of this page with people in it and send it to them so they know that you know who you're working with. Now, if you're brand new, guess what? It's blank. You haven't enrolled anybody yet. You don't have anybody to put in there. If you're not brand new and you have some people who are in the game, you want to put them in there. If you got 1 person, put them on there. If you got 10 people, put them on there. There's the left pages for the people on the left side of your dual team. The right pages for the people on the right side of your dual team. But this allows you to see, you want to get into the habit of knowing what your business looks like. You got to know your numbers to grow your numbers. Okay. And then you're going to also use the calendar pages. You're going to use the calendar pages to see your activity. That's the other thing that your plugged in upline is going to want to see. Your calendar, which is going to map out when you're showing the plan, when you're doing boom parties, when you're getting customers. That's going to tell the truth. When you say, hey, I don't know, I'm not making any money, nothing's happening, I see all these people getting promoted and going to the Boom 100 Club and nothing's happening for me, they're going to say, show me your calendar. And if your calendar looks like this one, blank, well, that's what your check is going to look like. Blank. Okay. You got a blank
if
check.
Your calendar's blank. Your check's blank.
Put that in the chat, guys.
Blankety blank.
Blank calendar equal blank check. All right. So, folks, that you want the calendar is the deal. Now, several months ago, our GMA did a calendar training.
That training was incredible.
Go on YouTube, find the calendar training, and watch it. Now, by the way, if you were in the business then, and you're in the business now, and you are still not the owner of a flight plan calendar and not using it in your business, you need to ask yourself, what does that say about you? Are you truly coachable, teachable, and trainable? And are you going to change that in 2020? Yeah, I know. I'm from New York. I tend to be a little direct and say the things that sometimes hurt people's feelings, but that's okay. If your feelings are hurt by that, they probably should be, right? Why don't you have, if you were coached to get a calendar months ago and you don't have one yet, you know, that might be one of the reasons that you're not having the success that you want to have, because you're slow to implement coaching, right? You want to have speed of implementation. So the things that we're teaching you today, I'm going to tell you who's going to win. You know who's going to win, Mark?
Who?
The folks who implement what we're talking about here today the fastest. Yeah. There's going to be some folks that at the end of this training are going to go and order 4, 5, 10 calendars. And I'm not trying to sell calendars. No. That's not what I'm doing. No. What I'm doing. It's not that calendars are such a monster profit center for the company. No. I'm just going to tell you, calendars are a profit center for you because of the impact that they have on your business. Okay. So let's keep moving. We got I think that was number 4.
Yes.
Let's pop on to number 5 here. Number 5 is, okay. And by the way, we're still on number 4. You want to make sure that your plan and your team's plans are in sync via the flight plan calendar. So the flight plan calendar needs to be how you and your team work together. Flight plan calendar needs to be how you and your team stay on the same page. That needs to be the language, the common language that you and your team speak needs to be that flight plan calendar. All right. If I'm working with somebody, I don't want to see no napkin drawings. I don't want to see no paper drawings. It's all about the calendar. Show me the calendar, flight plan calendar. How many people in your team have a flight plan calendar? That is going to be an indicator of how healthy your business is. As a matter of fact, it will be a greater indicator of how healthy your business is than your volume. Some people think their volume is the number one indicator of the health of their business. Others think that their check is the greatest indicator of the health of their business. I'm trying to tell you that those are not. Neither one of those is a solid indicator of how healthy your business is. A better indicator of whether your business is going the right direction or not is how many people had a calendar in your business last month versus how many people have a calendar in your business this month. How many people were on flight school last week versus how many people are on flight school this week. How many people were at Vision versus how many people are at Accelerate.
Yeah, that's huge.
Those are the indicators of how healthy your business is versus your volume. Okay, now we can go to number 5. Number 6. Sorry, that was number 5. Number 6 is STP. STP. What does STP mean? All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. STP means share the product. That means boomerangs. That means customers. You guys know we're on march to 1 million. We're at 33%, right? How do we get to 100%? Everybody individually embraces their piece. Are you in the Boom 100 Club? If not, why not? Right? I want to give a big shout out to all of our diamonds, like Peter and Karen Hirsch, that are in the Boom 100 Club. Right? When that's what is our leaders that are in the Boom 100 Club. See, that's a rite of passage. It says that you practice what you preach. Right? It says that you're walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Get 100 customers. Everybody can get 100 customers once they put their mind to it. Right? So get in the Boom 100 Club. How about you do that this month? I'll tell you what, if you do that this month, we're going to hit our 1 million. Everybody get in the Boom 100 Club. And remember, it's worth it. In the presentation, we use this example of, what if your customer saved $600 a year, whether that was one trip or a bunch of trips, and you had 10 customers. 10 times 600 is 6,000. Since these are your customers, you get 50%, you just made $3,000. Well, you know what? We got one person who's about to make $1,060 from one trip, from one customer, one customer that saved $3,000, not 600, 3,000. Right? And that's not to say that all the savings are that big. Some folks are going to get a check for 3 cents. Some people are going to get a check for 30 cents. Some people are going to get a check for $30. Some people are going to get a check for $300. Okay? That's okay. As a matter of fact, for the first time, I think we have 27 people getting a check over $100 this time. That number's going like this every single month, right? But the bottom line, the point that I'm trying to make is you got to be in it to win it. You got to have a lot of customers. Holton did that training when we were in Cancun. And it was the first time he did the pipeline training. And that was the first time he did the 10 and 2 training. And what he was saying is that you can't control when your customer is going to travel. So what do? You build a lot of customers. If you have a lot of customers, if you have 100 customers personally, if you have 200 customers personally, if you have 500 customers personally, then guess what? You'll get to the place where every month customers are completing travel and every month you're earning a bonus. Right? That's how you fill up your pipeline. So you got to share the product so that you can get customers. The other STP is this. You want to show the plan. You want to show the plan. What is showing the plan? That's sharing the boomerang opportunity with people. Right? And I know some folks got really excited because we launched Vibe Rides, and Vibe Rides is fantastic. We're going to blow that out, and we're continuing to work on the technology to make that right. We'll have the drivers on the road ASAP. But don't get distracted. The bigger opportunity is still iBoomerang. That's the core, right? So you want to show the iBoomerang opportunity to people every day. You want to be sending out I decides every day. I sound like the voiceover from I decides every day, right? You want to be doing boom parties, also known as good parties. You want to be doing those every day, at least 4 times a week. See, some folks are going to do that, and some folks are not. There's going to be a difference in the results. You want to be using our daily Facebook Live presentations. And I want to tell you something about our Facebook Live presentations. We're in our promos. Last year in 2019, we'd say, hey, we're doing a presentation at 11 a.m. Central, and Tanya Mizell Joseph is going to be doing the presentation. Well, guess what? In 2020, we're just saying, hey, we're doing a presentation at 11 a.m. All right, so we're taking the names off. Why? Because here's what we've done in 2020. We built a world-class presentation team. Our presenter bench is the deepest in the industry. We don't let anybody present that isn't good. So now we're just saying, hey, there's a presentation at 11. There's a presentation at whatever other time. This one's in English. This one's in Spanish. This one's in Polish. This one's in French. And you can go with confidence and put people on whatever presentation is being done, knowing that we always put our best foot forward with somebody good, right? So that's showing the plans, folks. You want to see how many people do you have each week that are STP, another STP, seeing the plan. All right, what you got?
I want to give a big shout out to Diamond Executive, Mr. William Thurston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at him showing. What is he doing? Showing the plan.
Showing the plan. Hashtag living rooms and dens.
That's right.
This is where it all happens.
That's where it goes down.
It's the good parties. Get your boom and good parties set up. And as T. Gray said, at least 4 a week. And Mr. Edwin Haynes, the Global Master Ambassador, did a training on how to go Sapphire doing 4 good parties a week. Okay. So it's 5 and 1,000, the 2 numbers you need to know. I'm not going to give away the rest of it. You got to go back and watch the training on YouTube. So, but that training talks about 4 good parties. Mr. William Thurston, Diamond Executive, hats off to you, man. You are rocking and rolling and getting into the living rooms and dens.
Absolutely.
It all starts. It all starts there.
It all starts in the living rooms and dens. And if you want to understand why the Cesar Munozes of the world, why the Johnny Wimbrys and Michael Jackson's new diamonds of the world, the Tommy Johnsons of the world are having such incredible results, they're having it because there's an awful lot of showing the plan that they do themselves, whether it's living rooms and dens, Zooms, hotel meetings, whatever it is that they're doing. They've got the most insane schedule. They're putting it all in. They're going all in like Kobe Bryant did. And that's why they're getting these disproportionately good results. And the leaders in their teams are emulating that as sapphires, rubies, and emeralds and getting the same type of results on their teams as well. All right. So I want to encourage you guys to make sure that you have a healthy dose of showing the plan.
One thing I need to mention is we do have a lot of new folks on, and here's how I know. What is an I decide? So I'm gonna send a link out, but on iBoom Hub, there are a series of ambassador orientation trainings. Okay, there are 6 of them. And those trainings will walk you through your first 6 days in the business.
Let me jump in here for a second.
Yeah.
So let's take a beat for a second. If we have new people that don't know what an I decide is, 2 things are happening. Number 1, they're not opening your email. What I want to challenge you guys is make sure that you are looking for any communication from the company. All right. So you want to go into your email and you want to make sure that @iboomerang.com is on your safe sender list, your white list, whatever. So it doesn't go to your junk. It doesn't go to your spam, and any emails that we send you get. You want to tell your new people to look for our emails, because guess what? We are sending every new person that joins the company an email every day for their first 6 days at this point with one of those trainings that you'll find under ambassador orientation. And I think it's the fourth one, or it might be the fourth one. That's how to send an I decide. Okay. So that means that folks are not seeing our emails. The second thing that it means is that sponsors are not taking responsibility. Okay. Remember, I'm from New York. I tend to shoot straight. The word sponsor and the word responsibility are really close. So sponsoring someone is not about the fast start bonus. That's cute. It's nice. It's to give you some upfront money. Okay. Sponsoring someone isn't about the dual team bonus. Again, it's just to give you some upfront money, right? Sponsoring someone is about launching someone in the business, taking responsibility for them getting off to the right start. And if you're bringing people in and you are not sending them the link to the ambassador orientation training page and saying, watch all of these and then let's talk, you're letting your new people down. Every new person that you personally enroll should know how to send a boomerang. They should know how to send an I decide. They should understand the value of their monthly subscription. They should know how to get off to a fast start. They should understand the basics of the comp plan, because those are all covered in those short ambassador orientation trainings. So I want to challenge you in 2020 to be a better sponsor, to be a great sponsor by taking responsibility for making sure your people get off. They get a flight plan calendar, they get the link to those trainings. And that's what we meant when we said learn and duplicate the system. All right. Understand the business of the business. All right. It's not just get them in. It's make sure that you take responsibility for putting them on track. Okay. Let's go to the next one, which is number 7, maximize the big event. All right. So this picture here is a picture of our first big event, which was absolutely insane. And I want to leave it up for just 1 second, because you know what? We had so many people. How many people do we have at this? 30. We had 30,000 people already in the company, right? And we had thousands of people who actually came to this event. And everybody that we spoke to, this event, and some of them had already went diamond and blue diamond, and ruby and emerald and sapphire. And so they obviously believed enough to build, and some of them built it big. But every last person that we spoke to said that this event really helped them to see that iBoomerang is real. Every last person that we spoke to, this event is where they made the big decision to go all the way. And I'm here to challenge you that nothing builds belief better or bigger than an event. All right. Nothing. Even those of you who are a little bit stoic and you feel like, oh, I don't need all that rah-rah, and nobody needs all that pump up stuff. And I won't even dare to tell you the word that someone used in one of the emails to describe, this kind of thing, but it wasn't very complimentary. But there's so many people that just think that this is not necessary. But then again, those people tend to have very small businesses. They tend to be very grouchy because they're not getting the results that they want, right? So I want to challenge you. There's a reason for this, and you want to make these events part of your business strategy. Can you please write that in your notes? Events are a critical part of my business strategy. The day that we decide we're not doing events is the day you should be extremely angry with us, because this is a key part of your business strategy, right? So that day is, by the way, not coming, because Holton Buggs and Edwin Haynes, they understand better than anybody how important these events are. Cesar Munoz understands. Cesar and Rodolfo and Esteban and Daniel, these guys understand the power of events so big that so they have a huge organization in Mexico, and it's not easy for everybody in Mexico to come to the United States. So what do? They got with Holton Buggs and Edwin Haynes and said, hey, we need to host our own big event. Will you guys come and support that event? Which they did. And that event was called decide, right, in LATAM. And they had people come from all over Latin America, from Mexico, from Peru, from Ecuador to come to this event. And they had over, they had almost a couple of thousand people.
Oh yeah,
at this event.
I think it was over 2,000.
Right? Okay, over 2,000 people at this event, so that because they understand the power of the event, and they got together as diamonds and they spent some serious money because they understand that these events are crucial to your business strategy. So if you're turning up your nose at events, if you feel like you can skip events, that is a critical mistake in your business judgment. You don't understand the business of the business yet, okay? Sometimes what people will say, Mark, I've had people say this to me, well, listen, when I start making money, I'll start going to the events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what I challenge them is, let's flip that around. When you start going to events, that's when you're gonna start making money.
Yeah. So quick story. I had made zero money. As a matter of fact, I had signed up in the first company at the lowest level, $99.
Mm-hmm.
And, my sponsor said, hey, man, you got to go to the event.
So you were at standby, essentially.
Yeah, I was at standby, exactly what I was at. And he said, hey, man, we got to go to this event. And I said, no, I'm not going to any event. I haven't made any money yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, let's at least go. And I was like, no, I'm not going. And I said, well, where is it? And he said, in Florida. And I said, oh, heck no, I'm not going. So we ended up going to the event. And guess what? That was the catalyst. Mm-hmm. I immediately went to I went to a first class package and started building. Now, we didn't listen a lot still because we were such babies in the business. But once we started listening, then things started happening. But it was the event that changed everything.
Wow. Hey, folks, that's all I can tell you. So here's what you need to be doing in terms of goals. You need to really be thinking about how many people on your team will you have at this event? Okay. How many people on your team will be at the event? All right. Now I want to take you to the next level. Here's the next level concept. First level concept is how many people from my team? You might have a small team. You might have 5 people in your team. If you have 5 people in your team, I challenge you to go 5 for 5. Okay. When you start to have bigger teams, then you get into percentages. Maybe you have 1,000 people in your team. You'd love to have 1,000, but you might not have all 1,000 show up at the event. Okay. You guys see where I'm going with that? But now here's the next thing. Man, this is good. You ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
How many different legs of business will you have at the event? Yep. Okay. What do I mean by legs of business? Okay. Let me get my calendar out because I'm going to show you what a leg of business is with the calendar. Okay. So yes, you have a dual team, but each person that you personally enroll starts a new leg, right? So when you look at your calendar and you see the stars represent people that you personally enrolled. Okay. So if you have enrolled 5 people, you'll have 5 of those stars are going to have names in them. And that means you have 5 legs of business. And you know what? If you have people from each of those legs at the event, guess what? You have 5 legs of business represented at the event, which means that you now have the opportunity to have your business explode in 5 different places. And that's going to be what helps you accelerate to emerald and diamond and beyond. So how many different legs of business will you have represented at each event? See, I had no clue about this stuff before I met Holton Bugs and Edwin Haynes. This is the business of the business. This is the stuff you're going to learn in 2020 if you go up to flight school every week. This is the stuff that our global master ambassador is going to literally, he's designing a curriculum right now. Once a month, he's going to come and lay the business of the business smackdown and teach you how to do this. And of course, our CEO will drop in from time to time and with some serious mind-blowing Uber concepts.
So our GMA is training next week, right?
Next week.
Next
Saturday. First one.
So here it is. And these are significant trainings.
School starts next Saturday.
Yeah.
Will you be there? How many of your people will be there? Are you going to wait until Saturday morning to promote? Some of you guys are going to do that. And you're going to have smaller results than you could have had than if you start today. When this training is over, say, hey, you know what? You missed it. Watch this and go ahead and make it a priority. Put this on your calendar. You and I have a date. Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Central. Meet me on Facebook Live for the first installment of Business of the Business training from our Global Master Ambassador. Okay? Cool. All right. Let's keep this thing rolling. The mouse will show up. Where's the mouse? There we go. Boom. All right. Last but not least.
Woo.
And most important is this.
Yeah.
You got to get into action.
This is all good.
Right?
Maybe you took notes. That's not enough.
That's not enough. Right? You can put gas in the car. You can get the car washed. But if you don't put it in drive and get it on the road, all you got is a clean, gassed up car. Right? And so you don't want to just take all this knowledge and just be, getting ready to get ready. Okay. You got to actually get into action. You got to get out there. And as they say, is really deep and profound. Do something. You got to get out there and do something, right? You got to do something. Get out there and start talking to people, showing the plan, right? Get into action. This is the one that makes everything happen. Everything else is about getting ready for this. And this is the part where you actually do the things that we talked about doing. And guess what? When you get into action, guess what's going to happen? You are going to make some mistakes. There's a lot of what we're going to teach you how to do and what your leaders, these diamonds, are going to teach you how to do. And our Global Master Ambassador and CEO are going to teach you how to do that you're going to do for the first time. In the beginning, you're going to be terrible at it.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to downright suck.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you, right?
Yeah.
But the key is don't quit. Don't get too discouraged. Just dust yourself off and try again.
Yeah.
That's a song.
Yeah.
Right? Dust yourself off and try again. And just keep on and do better the next time and do better the next time. And before you know it, you'll be doing amazing things effortlessly because you didn't give up. But you got to take that first step. You got to get into action. So, folks, there you go. 8 ways that you can get your 2020 off to a rocking start. Wanted to share that with you guys. Go ahead and put in your calendar right now, next week, Saturday, right now, you're going to be you and your team. By the way, here's a way of looking at it.
What's that?
How many different legs of business do you have on flight school each week?
Ooh.
All right. How many different legs of business do you have on flight school each week? I'm going to tell you right now, the person with the most legs of business represented on flight school each week is winning. They are winning. I can tell you right now. All right. So I want to challenge you guys to absolutely go ahead and take this training and go ahead and rock it. So anyway, that's that.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
That was awesome.
All right. All right.
Give myself a 5.
So silly. All right, cool.